All right, ladies and gentlemen, war is upon us. New season, season 33 Renewal. This is going to be war number 1. We're going to go right into it. So we're running the usual team this war. We're going to do She-Hulk, Mr. Fantastic, and well, actually for the third slot we're doing Vision Age of Ultron AOU. There's some new nodes on a couple paths. Don't really know all the changes yet. As you saw there, we got Quake, Corvus, and Ghost bands. That's pretty typical in war these days. But yeah, so there's some new paths. I think 8A has some updated nodes. 1A and 1B, I think. And then maybe one other path. Maybe it's 8B. I'm not exactly sure. But I think the biggest change and really the hardest change is 1B, which is what I am assigned to this war. That's why I'm bringing Vision. But yeah, so we're going to jump right into this. We're going to do Tigra on 6B, followed by Silver Surfer, and then I got Annihilus on Power Snack. This is a pretty standard fight. Prowess Puncture, so you want to alternate your basic attacks. You don't have to, but it's, to mitigate that block damage, because that Prowess Puncture will hurt. But yeah, she just gets bodied. She-Hulk, so good. Just so good. Tigra, though, those parries, they wear off fast because she's such a tiny champ. So you got to watch that. You don't have time to really think. BAM! 40k level 2. Take that. Moving right into Silver Surfer here. Mr. Fantastic for this one. And I think I walk away with like 8 pre-fights. I set the ending up perfectly with a level 1 in this fight. It's a rank 4 Surfer, but without high ground, he's not that tough. You just gotta watch the AI. I like to catch you on that dash back with the level 1. I think they tuned Surfer's AI that way. Rolling mid-tier boosts, 20, 15, 15. But yeah, it's a pretty standard fight. I am running Max Inequity. I've been running it for a couple months now, all through off season, and then 1 in Resonate. Max Inequity, I mean, I assume it's mitigating damage, and it mitigates block too, since it's just all attack from the opponent. I haven't taken the time to verify the numbers or anything, but I assume it's working. And there's so many champs now that inflict debuffs on attack that, I think Inequity is actually a really good mastery, and there's more and more people starting to run it. I do run one in Resonate, primarily because of the team that I always use in Alliance Wars. It's a science-heavy team. Mr. Fantastic and She-Hulk both inflict lots of debuffs, so that Resonate, it's just another debuff, and it helps. Plus, it's a Power Sting team, so another debuff. And I would say vast majority of fights, with the exception of like 2 nodes, Masochism and Conflictor, it's advantageous. It's helpful. And on those 2 nodes, on Masochism, I actually think it is helpful because it allows you to just parry more freely instead of worrying about double parry or anything like that, since often Resonate will proc Masochism and then allow you to just go about your business. Conflictor, overall, probably a net hindrance since they do gain power, but still not entirely sure because it has been helpful for that node. I guess it really depends on the champ, the defender. So yeah, Annihilus here. sit up, just get that heavy in. I don't ever rely on parry stun ever sticking versus Annihilus. With She-Hulk, I always just, I mean, you know, if I parry and one sticks, great. I was a little surprised by that one sticking. I was really just going for the block damage mitigation. But ultimately, you just hold block and heavy counter. That's how you get your slow up. We're gonna get a couple heavy spams here. 2, 3, get worked. Missed a parry there. With the indestructible though, look at that. Full yellow bar. Ah! Man, if She-Hulk had a high crit rate, oof, she would be ridiculous. I run her in questing and stuff with Abomination and Red Hulk sometimes, and that team, those two champs plus She-Hulk give plus 455 crit rating. I think it's pretty nuts, and you could definitely feel it. So this fight's the tricky one here. This was the hardest fight for me on the map this war. Because if you read the nodes, I don't think I took this lane once in off season. I didn't even know there was changes, to be honest. Didn't pay attention. But you want to keep heal block up the whole fight. Otherwise, they gain vigor charges, and it will just be it'll snowball to a nightmare. They'll be unblockable the whole fight, and it'll be a mess. So whoever you take, you want to either blast them down quickly, really quickly, or someone who can inflict heal block often and throughout. I think Ultron's a really good placement here on this lane, and we'll probably see him often because he has native regeneration in addition to any regeneration you may trigger from the vigor charges. But yeah, this is a lot of parrying, and you have to, and you know, he's got that passive evade, so you have to like play around that. But either Vision, you know, they have access to heal block and a lot of it. And I did opt for a combat power rate just so that, because Vision's level 1 inflicts heal block, but they have to be under a bar of power when you hit them with the level 1. I think if they're under a bar and the level 1 pushes them over, but then drains them, I think it may still proc the heal block, but I'm not entirely sure. I do know that they need to be under a bar of power. So that's why I wanted the combat power rate, so I could just keep that down, suppressed. It goes a little sideways here because, you know, there's a lot going on under his life bar. So many different meters and debuffs and stuff to keep track of. And it looks great now, but that vigor, those dormant vigor charges, they do stack up. And I end up, yeah, right here, I'm like, oh, do parry this passive unblockable. I'm like, oh my, running. Like, oh damn. But yeah, that evade, it comes around a lot faster than you think. Passive now, so, and slow doesn't work against him. Oof. Yeah, this was definitely a tough fight. I mean, there's a lot going on. Not to mention, like, the freaking unstoppable armor. Power Sting. I got one. Yeah, he doesn't, you know, he's tech, but it doesn't work. Vision, the way he plays, his playstyle is all about power suppression and them never using specials. So the power stings pretty much never come into play, even though that last one was pretty clutch. He absolutely owns Bishop. Just owns him anywhere. Bishop never, ever gets power. He never even gets one bar. I mean, obviously he'll get incinerated if he does get to a bar of power, Bishop, and then starts blasting you, you know, and he's got that energy meter or whatever where you can just get incinerated. All that can be bad, but yeah, you know, you never let him get to a bar, and that's it. He is just meat. Yeah. Bishop just getting worked. I wasn't worried about this fight. The Ultron fight was definitely a fight I was like, man, I can't even really practice for this because, yeah, I dueled Ultron a bunch in my roster with like a 4-star Vision. But, you know, Ultron's not bad, but, you know, the tough things are the node. The node and then also the global, which you can't practice against. So, like, yeah, you can duel against them. Okay, no problem there, but you got to play around the evade, unstoppable armor, and the vigor charges and the potential unblockable. But, you know, got through it. And then Vision just me. Bum. We got Mangog coming up. And then I actually got to take Gladiator Hulk boss, which was a lot of fun. I mean, Glad Hulk, She-Hulk pretty much owns him anywhere. Not really any exception here. It was an interesting boss. We haven't seen him yet as a boss. He is unstoppable armor, so I could see, like, without She-Hulk, I mean, I don't know that there's like great options because Sorceress Supreme does great against a lot of bosses, but slow doesn't work against counterclass. So plus it's counterclass. I always don't like counterclass, but slow doesn't work, so that's a moot point. And like Shang-Chi, like, yeah, I guess he would work, but like you don't get that stun through block with that last Wushu strike. And as much as I like Shang-Chi, like, you have to build those charges, and that is annoying. So, like, versus a boss, I just don't know. I mean, maybe someone show me a video or, you know, prove me wrong, but, like, I think he'd be great versus, like, nodes on pads where, like, you can build a couple charges and, you know, get the high Wushu and then just rock them with one level 2. You know, boost it up or something, but like boss, you need a lot of those. So that's where its damage is, and you're gonna have to sit there and build, and you know, fire level 2, build a lot more, and yeah, I just don't know. But She-Hulk, perfectly capable. Bam! Mangog, never taken him before. I mean, he just stays on that node. Yeah, this is a fun fight. I practiced this. I dueled a lot. My Gladiator Hulk, I have him as a rank 5, 5-star. I dueled him a whole lot, and yeah, no, it went well. I did opt for Petrify and Debuff Siphoner. I'm sure you guys are like, well, why Debuff Siphoner? He doesn't have any DOT. It's because of the willpower. So I didn't want to suppress his combat power rate because I do want him throwing specials so I can get the power stings. But each one of those debuffs inflicts willpower. Or not inflicts, but, you know, generates willpower healing. So combine that with her level 2 Petrify, and then you get more reversal. So that was the theory there. That was the strategy. Obviously can't practice that in a duel, but yeah, no, it works out well. And her heavy, you can counter, heavy counter against Gladhulk. So super aggressive with She-Hulk as usual. She's a roll. I do like the sounds though. Wow. Try to bait off the level 1. That level 1 will catch you. It's kind of like Juggernauts. It's got a late splash, but if you're in close, it's a lot easier to evade. Just like Juggernauts. Far away, it can get a little scary. Bam. Ooh, wake up right in your face. Done. There it is. And we just keep this rhythm going, and we just work them down. You see all that that heal reversal there. I managed to keep Mr. Fantastic pre-fights up this entire fight, which I was pretty proud of, to be honest. That's hard to do on a boss node, because you have to constantly knock him down. Bam! Oh, those Furies just taunting and taunting and taunting. Bam! 40k level 2 right there. Bam! Yeah, I mean, She-Hulk is just so good. I can't wait to take her to rank 4. definitely, I mean, doesn't need it. But, you know, it's always nice to have. Bomb. But, yeah. I hope you guys liked it. This is my first war of the season. 7 fights. Let's go. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.